Now I'd like to introduce you to a product that I really, really love and I highly recommend to all women willing to use internal weights. And that is the most exquisite and beautiful Jade Egg. As you can see, the Jade Egg is pre-drilled with a hole that you can attach non-synthetic cord or thread to, silk or cotton or even some dental floss, so that you can attach additional weights and also so that you can easily remove them. When you master using the Jade Egg and you're able to move it up and down and left and right and tilt it in different directions, then you're able to downsize and you go to a smaller Jade Egg. So each time you use the Jade Egg, you begin with the larger stone and then you go to the smaller stone. I particularly love jade eggs, not only because they're beautiful and genuine jade gemstone and exquisite, but because you can attach additional weights to them and use resistance training by pulling on the threaded cord. And by that I mean that if you haven't threaded this with a cord, not only is it easy to remove from your body, but you're able at any time that you like, in the shower say, which is when I practice, or you may practice when you go to the bathroom, after you go to the bathroom, by contracting the pelvic floor muscles and performing a perineal lift and pulling on the threaded cord. And obviously by pulling on the threaded cord while this is in your body and contracting your pelvic floor muscles, that's going to give you resistance training. Now, jade eggs were used in ancient China by the empresses and by the emperor's concubines for superior sexual fitness, for internal health and strong pelvic floor muscles, for longevity and immortality, and for metaphysical power and charisma. Now, when your pelvic floor muscles are strong and you palpate them often, you generate more sexual energy in your body, which is where you get charisma and the sexy energy from your ovaries or your testes. And it's by using the energy in your pelvis, in your reproductive organs, that you generate more sexual energy. And as I said earlier, sexual energy is the most powerful energy in the universe because it creates life. Jade eggs were also used by a bunch of women called white tigresses who were Taoist practitioners, and that's a very secret and sacred tradition that really not a lot is known about or written about, and most of the information that we have that comes from the white tigresses is handed down from word of mouth. And that really is the most powerful way that tradition is handed down through oral teachings, which is the same as the tantric practitioners. There's a lot of people claiming to know and understand a lot about Tantra and Tantra practices, and there's a lot of best-selling books that you can get from the bookstore on Tantric practices, but I'm telling you now, the authentic tradition even today is really only handed down orally by masters who have gone through a rigorous and lengthy training of Buddhist practices to learn about Tantra. Although I'm not handing down these oral traditions to you, I'm very concerned with eradicating incontinence and creating superior sexual fitness in women today. You know, in ancient times they would traditionally insert the jade egg, thread it with a cord, attach a weighted bag of marbles or sand to the jade egg. They would put the weighted bag on a chair and they would stand in a stance called horse stance, which is feet pelvis width apart, knees slightly bent, and your arms positioned in this manner at your sides. And then they would perform the contracting and releasing that we've learnt, the perineal lift, and relaxing to lift up the sandbag and drop it down. And they were able to lift up to 20 kilos, which really is quite an incredible weight. And really, that really gives you a great idea of how powerful our pelvic floor muscles can be when they're trained diligently in this way. But I think that standing in horse stance and practicing as the ancient Taoist white tigresses did is a really bad look when your children or your husband comes into the room and says, "Hey honey," or "What are you doing there?" And you say, "Oh, I'm just doing my vaginal weightlifting practices." I don't think that's very contemporary or convenient. Today we're so rushed and we have such a little time for ourselves. And that's why I've devised a really convenient way for us to do our resistance training, and that is while we're in the shower or after we go to the bathroom, we might pull on the threaded cord, and it's easy to understand how that pulling on the threaded cord while contracting the pelvic floor muscles provides you with exceptional resistance training. Now, there are a lot of products in the market today for pelvic floor strength, for increasing tone and elasticity of the pelvic floor muscles, but none of them are really quite as beautiful as the Jade Egg, and none of them really are quite as private, because you can practice with the Jade Egg as a tool in the privacy of your own body. And most other products out there, you need your own private space to practice in, but you can wear these up to 8 hours a day, or sometimes you can wear them even more than that. They're definitely recommended for women that are in sedentary jobs that sit down a lot, to wear for 6 to 8 hours a day, simply because your muscles move and contract just by wearing them. So it's really my favorite product, and it's the only one that I recommend. Some of the other products I find a little bit daunting. I find them invasive, and I find them a little bit depressing, really. Some of them are quite, to my nature, really rather vulgar, whereas this really is a very classy and exquisite gemstone. And it's a tool that I really recommend for women who want exceptional muscle control and pelvic floor fitness, simply because it strengthens your muscles just by wearing them. So that's a product that I highly recommend that you consider wearing in your fitness regime.